Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Through My Eyes, A Life with MS. You are listening to Lauren Parrott on the MS&Me Radio Network. We are sponsored and powered by the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network 24/7 internationally. This show is going to be about how living with multiple sclerosis is much easier to manage in the fall, and it is my favorite time of year. I say it every year. I always tell people the fall is my favorite, and I'm going to talk about it with you all today. First and foremost, the fall is such an enormous relief for me after living through the difficulties that I have had with MS in the summer. Technically speaking, heat or humidity can make many people with multiple sclerosis experience a temporary worsening of their symptoms. Doctors believe that this occurs because heat causes damaged nerves to conduct electrical impulses less efficiently. So basically, that just means that the symptoms that you already have and the symptoms that are already making your life more difficult, it get worse. So even though I would say for the whole, most people love the spring and the summer, but for me, I just know the heat and humidity really bothers me. So when the fall comes around and the weather gets cooler, I celebrate. I get really happy and I really look forward to the fall because I start actually looking and feeling pretty normal, relatively normal, and it's great. I love it so much. To me, the fall means new beginnings. My coworker Denise and I are on the same page with this. And we've said it every year. We always say September 1st is actually the beginning of the year. Not January 1st, but September 1st. And there are a couple of reasons why, and I'm going to share that with you. So in the fall, school starts. And I always loved school. And people complain about it. A lot of people, they're like, oh my gosh, the summer is over, my freedom is over. But really, I think most people get excited about seeing their friends again. And when school starts, they're more active, both in the classroom and, in like activities that they're participating in outside of school. So I think that people really love when school starts. And it's funny, part of this is because my mom was a teacher, so she really encouraged my brother and I to love school. And we both did, always. And from grade school to grad school, I absolutely loved going to school. It's so funny. So, my favorite TV show when I was a kid, when I was little, was Saved by the Bell. And I'll never forget this quote. The main character, his name was Zach Morris. In real life, his name is Mark Paul Gosselaar. I think that like almost everybody, at least all my girlfriends, we all had crushes on Zach Morris. And he made a comment one time and he's like, I love school. He said, it's too bad classes get in the way. And it was funny. It was funny for the TV show, but I love classes. I loved classes, and I loved learning, and I loved going to school. I was a social butterfly. I am a social butterfly, but I also love learning. I love reading, and so for me, school was awesome. And I went to college, and I'm so fortunate that I was able to go to college, and I was able to go to graduate school. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity. But I loved it. And school always happens. It starts in the fall and it finishes in the spring. So I never really had to go to school when I had difficulty with my symptoms. I didn't have difficulty from my multiple sclerosis with school because it was during the fall. So for me, that's another huge reason why I loved school so much. And so back to when I was little, my mom she always encouraged my brother and I to appreciate it, and we did. So on the first day of school, we would take a picture, and she'd always tell us, she's like, smile really big, give me a big smile. It's the first day of school, and we would have, just like most kids, you get like new outfits, new clothes, or new tennis shoes or whatever, and so we had these pictures, all through school. And I laugh about it. I think it's really cute, actually. And then on the last day of school, we took a sad face picture. We were sad that it was over. And that's when I was a kid. And now, being when I went through college and grad school, I had multiple sclerosis. And so I didn't actually take pictures, but I definitely felt the same way. I was really excited when school started, and I was sad when it was over because I knew that what was coming was summertime, and that meant heat and humidity, and it meant that my multiple sclerosis was going to get worse. So that's just, part of it. I loved school for, what it was meant for, but that's one of the main reasons why I loved the fall. And another reason why I love the fall is it is the beginning of football season. I get so excited. If any of you watch football, the do 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 that music, and I look forward to it. It's like my favorite. I love the songs. The last couple of years, Carrie Underwood, who is I idolize her. I think she is awesome. She is the Sunday night football singer. I think she's got the whole package. She's very sweet. She's humble. She's very talented. She's beautiful. I really, really like her. So I love watching her song and listening to her during Sunday night football. But that's beside the point. So football season is awesome because in my house, I grew up with sports being on TV all the time. My dad actually played football in high school and then he played baseball in college, and my brother played basketball all his whole entire career through college, high school and college, and so sports are very important in my family. So that's another reason, the fall to me means the start of sports seasons, and I love it. I grew up with it, and my dad told me one time, he's like, Lauren, if you want to find a good husband, he said, make sure you learn about football. And I didn't understand what he meant at the time. And now I don't watch football because, I'm trying to find a husband. I watch football because I like it, and it represents, it's like a symbol for me feeling really good while living with a disability. So I do know a lot about football, but I don't, I don't, like I said, I don't watch it because I'm trying to impress anybody. I watch it because I like it, and it's a symbol for me feeling good. And I wanted to talk about how I love the Detroit Lions. And I know they've gotten a lot of criticism in the past. I actually, when I was in college, I took a hospitality business class, and there was a man who came into one of our classes, and he said, is anybody interested in working at Ford Field? And that's where the Detroit Lions play football. He said, because I'm looking for someone to work in the suites. And I was like, well, that would be pretty cool. I was in college, and I'm like, yeah, it'd be awesome. During football, that would be sweet. So I applied, and I got the job, and it was great. I loved it. But at the time, the Detroit Lions were not playing so well. This was in the early 2000s, 2001, I think. And the Lions were not doing so hot. And I was working in the suites, and the floor that I worked on, it was they called it the Green Mile. I don't know if any of you have seen that movie, but they called my floor the Green Mile because so the floor was so long that it was like a mile long, because they were party suites. So the suites were like double in size. And it was kind of difficult because I had to do a lot of walking. And it kind of like I would get so excited because I was able to walk, and Ford Field is an indoor facility, so heat and humidity didn't really play a factor. But because I worked in the party suites, I had a lot of walking to do. So I remember the day after a football game, on like Monday morning, I wouldn't be able to walk. I would lay in my bed, and my mom had to come massage my legs because it was so bad. And so that was kind of a bummer. And that was before my relapse. So today I wouldn't be able to have that job at all. But that's just one memory I have of working at Ford Field. But on the bright side, I got to see football games for free, and I got paid for it. No, it was an awesome job. I loved it. I loved working in Ford Field, and I loved the people, and even though the Lions weren't playing that well at the time, it was still an incredible experience. So that's the second thing that that I love, so I love when school starts, and I love when football season starts. And the next thing is, this is when TV shows start. I love when the new TV shows start in the fall, because I look forward to the new shows, and you wait. I wait like all summer long, and then they start in October, and I get really excited about it because then I have something to look forward to every week, and I get hooked on a show and hooked on a storyline, and it's for me, it's very exciting. I know I probably sound like a nerd or whatever, but I love it. I know in my last broadcast I talked about the show This Is Us and how I was disappointed that they had a negative spin on multiple sclerosis. So that was kind of disappointing, but I still love the show, and I watched it last night, and it's an awesome show. It's still a great show, and I look forward to it every week. So I love when shows start in the fall. It's just something else that I look forward to. Another thing that I love about the fall is celebrations, like if you have an Oktoberfest. I have to tell you this story. We actually had an Oktoberfest at my job last week. It was. And I'm on an employee activities committee at my job, and there's a team. There are like 6 of us women, and we get together and just throw out ideas and brainstorm, and we try to plan fun things for the employees. And I was on this committee, and we were planning. We said, well, Christmas gets so incredibly busy, and we've tried having things around Christmas, but we said, why don't we have an Oktoberfest? That way we can all get together, we can all have a celebration, and it'll be in October, so it won't interrupt the plans that we have, with our families during the holidays. And I'm sure we'll be doing other things around Christmas. But we decided on this Oktoberfest, and it was awesome. We had hot dogs and bratwurst, and we ordered food from this other place, and we brought it in, and we had hot cider. I had a cider that had a little bit of alcohol in it. There was beer and wine. It was so fun. It was really, really great. But there was something else that I wanted to talk about. We have classes where I work. And one of the classes we have, he's a new instructor, and he is teaching line dancing. And he's great, and the students in his class really like him. And so it was my coworker's idea to have him come to our Oktoberfest and teach some line dancing. So I thought it was a great idea, and something about me is that when I was a little girl, I was a dancer. I was in competitive dance for about 10 years. And then when I started, I think, playing sports, I started playing sports in middle school, and so I quit dance. But I was actually, I wasn't the greatest dancer, but I was in a competition group, so I was good. I was a good dancer, but the thing that I was the best at was learning routines. And I was better at like ballet. I was really good at ballet, and I was really good at tap. I wasn't so good at jazz, but I was really, really good at learning routines. And so my best girlfriend, she was the best dancer in our group, but she had trouble learning routines. So I wasn't the best dancer, but I was able to learn routines really quickly. So I would always help her with the routines. So that was something that just came very naturally to me. And when we had the line dancing instructor come to our Oktoberfest, he was teaching us different dance routines, and just like the Cupid shuffle and things like that. And I'm really, really quick at picking up routines. However, it was really humid that day, and we were outside. We have a terrace, so we were outside on the terrace, and I was trying to do these dances, and I knew I catch on very, very quickly. So I knew exactly what to do, but my legs just decided to stop working because it was humid, and I was really upset because it was the fall. And this was I was really upset, and I grabbed my coworker's arms, and I just kind of like grabbed them, and I'm like, this is what my legs feel like. I grabbed her arms, and she couldn't move them, and I'm like, that's what my legs feel like. Plus they're burning, and it's really unfortunate. It's awful. So I was kind of upset. I was disappointed because I was excited about the line dancing, but I couldn't really do it. But that's okay. I mean, we still had a good time. So I don't know. I love the fall. I love Oktoberfest. It was just an unfortunate day. I think it was just an abnormally hot day. But that's okay. I made the best of it and had a really good time. And I have a new coworker. She's wonderful. My coworker, Shauna, and she doesn't actually like cooler weather. She and so many other people don't like cooler weather, and they complain about it. And I tried to explain to her. I was like, well, you know what? I said, I want to explain to you why I like the cooler weather. And without getting into the details of it, I was trying to explain to her, well, this is what heat and humidity, this is how I feel during the summer and during the spring. And this is how I feel during the fall and during the winter. And so it made sense for her after I explained it to her. And I know a lot of people, they may complain about the weather or whatever, but once I explain to them exactly how I feel and exactly what I'm going through, they're more likely to be empathetic and understand. And the other thing I wanted to tell you about was what happens in the fall is Halloween. And obviously, and October 31st, a lot of people, some people love it, some people hate it, whatever rose your boat, or no, what's the phrase? What's the phrase? I don't remember. Anyway, I'm trying to think of that phrase. Whatever floats. I don't remember. That is so embarrassing. Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to talk about Halloween. So, I still go to parties occasionally, depending on what's happening. My girlfriend, she's having a housewarming. She's having a housewarming / Halloween party. And she invited me to go, and I'm going, and I'm dressing up as Strawberry Shortcake. And the reason I am doing that is because I have a part-time job where I dress like a princess and other characters. Like I also dress like a clown, and I just learned about Strawberry Shortcake, and so I happen to have her costume, and I had no idea who she was, but this little girl was obsessed with Strawberry Shortcake, so the company that I work for, they gave me the costume, and she has red hair, so I have a red wig that I wear, and I love it. It is so fun. It's like the best job for me in the world to have as a part-time job because I get to spend time with children. And I go to kids' birthday parties, and other different events. Like I just last weekend I went to a Halloween party and I was dressed up as Princess Elsa, and I make balloon animals and I do face painting. Now, this is where MS comes into play. I can't really do face painting. Like I I can't do it because I have tremors in my hands, and you wouldn't be able to see them if you saw me in person, but if you watched me trying to paint someone's face, you would see that my hands just get very shaky. So I explained this to my boss for this job. He knows, he and his wife run the company, and they both know that I live with MS, and so my boss, he told me, he said, well, what you can do is you can buy stamps. And they're stamps, and all I do is I put the face paint on the stamps, and then I put the stamp on the kid's face. And it works out really well. It looks great. The kids are happy. I have sparkles that I put on their face, and they're really excited about it. And so it's one of those jobs where I was actually hired. I've been doing it for almost a year, and I do it on the weekends, and I didn't think that I was going to be able to do this job in the summertime. I didn't say anything to my boss. I didn't say anything to anybody, but I was like, oh my God, there's no way. There's no way with the heat and humidity I'm going to be able to do this. Because I got the job in the winter, and it was fine in the winter, and in the cooler weather I do great. And the spring came along and it was okay, and the summer came along and I was incredibly busy, but I did really, really well. I couldn't believe it. I said, oh my gosh. I think it's really important to test our limitations, because you never know what's going to happen, because I didn't think that was going to be a possibility. So I was really excited about it, but now that it's the fall, now I can I don't have anything to worry about, because my body is just functioning better. I feel better. I feel like I look better. I feel like I'm more confident, and it's just another reason why I love the fall. So I'm going to be strawberry shortcake at my girlfriend's party on Saturday, and I'm really excited about it. I can't wait, and I haven't told her what I'm coming dressed as, so I think she'll be really surprised. She won't expect it at all, but I'm very excited about it. I feel great. Trust me, I am so blessed that I'm able to walk in general. Like, I've talked about this a little bit before, but I have so many friends that are not able to walk, and so because they have a different form of multiple sclerosis. So trust me, like I believe, I know how fortunate I am that I'm able to walk. I'm very grateful, and I thank God all the time. I really do. And I'm just very happy, and I'm much happier in the fall, and I hope you guys, I hope you can relate to me, and I hope that you maybe feel the same way I do about the fall. You might not, you're probably not as nerdy as I may be, because I love school so much. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this show. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, and I will be making another broadcast next week. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.